My fiancée announced, "I'm keeping my apartment after we marry, just in case." I smiled and said, "Smart thinking." Then I withdrew my offer on our dream house and signed a bachelor pad lease. Her realtor called her with some unexpected news the next morning. I, 32 male, was sitting across from my fiancée Sia, 30, at our favorite restaurant when she dropped the bomb. We'd been engaged for 8 months, together for 4 years. The wedding was 3 months away. I just put an offer on a house, our dream house, the one she'd been Pinterest boarding about for the past year. "So I've been thinking," she said, twirling her wine glass, "about living arrangements after the wedding." "Yeah?" The seller countered our offer. "I think if we go up another 15K, the house is ours." She took a deep breath. "That's great, but I've decided to keep my apartment." I paused mid-chew. "As a rental property?" No, just to keep. For me." "I don't follow." She leaned forward like she was explaining something to a child. "Look, statistics show a lot of marriages don't work out. I'm being practical. I'll keep paying rent on my place just in case things don't work out between us. It's smart planning." I set down my fork. "Just in case. Don't take it personally. It's like insurance. You have car insurance but don't plan to crash, right?" "Right." I nodded slowly. "Smart thinking." She smiled, relieved. "I knew you'd understand. So you'll call the realtor tomorrow about increasing the offer?" "Absolutely." I did call the realtor the next morning, just not with the news Celia expected. Update 1. The next morning, I withdrew our offer on the house. The realtor, Janine, was confused. "But you were so close. The sellers would definitely accept another 15K. "Plans changed. I appreciate all your help." "Is everything okay? Did something happen with the inspection?" "No, just reconsidering my options." Then I made my second call, to Kyle, an old college buddy who manages properties. "You still have that loft available? The one with the home office? The bachelor special?" "Yeah, but I thought you were buying a house with Celia?" "Change of plans. Can I see it today?" The loft was perfect. Modern, minimalist, walking distance to work. 1 bedroom, 1 office, definitely not designed for a married couple. I signed a 2-year lease on the spot. That evening, Celia called from her lunch break. "Hey babe, did you call Janine about the counteroffer?" "I did." "And? Are we getting the house?" "Actually, I withdrew our offer." Silence. "Then you what? Why?" "Well, I got to thinking about what you said, about being practical, smart planning, so I signed a lease on a 1-bedroom loft instead." "A 1-bedroom? What about me?" "You're keeping your apartment, remember? Just in case. This place is perfect for just me." "That's not... I mean, where am I supposed to live after the wedding?" "In your apartment? The one you're keeping?" "Ryan, that's ridiculous. I'm keeping it as backup. We're supposed to live together." "Oh, that's confusing. When you said you were keeping your apartment just in case, I assumed you meant you'd be living there." "My mistake." She hung up. 20 minutes later, she was at my door, hair frazzled, still in her work clothes. "We need to talk about this misunderstanding," she announced, pushing past me. "What misunderstanding?" "This," she gestured wildly. "The loft, the house. You're being petty." "I'm being practical. You opened my eyes to the statistics. Makes sense to protect myself too." "That's not how it works. I keep my place as backup, but we live in our house together." "So you'd have a whole empty apartment just sitting there, while I pay the full mortgage on a house? That doesn't seem fair." Her mouth opened and closed like a fish. You? The mortgage would be both of ours." "Would it?" "Because you'd be paying rent on your apartment. Unless you expected me to cover the entire house payment while you keep your safety net." Ding ding ding. The silence told me everything. Update 2. The next 3 weeks were intense. Celia went through the full cycle of emotions. First came damage control. She told everyone I was having cold feet and making rash decisions. Her mom, Patricia, called me. "Ryan, sweetheart, what's this about a bachelor pad?" "It's a 1-bedroom loft, Patricia. Very practical." "But what about the wedding? Where will you two live?" "Celia's keeping her apartment. She was very clear about that." "That's just... I'm sure she didn't mean..." "She literally said, just in case things don't work out. I'm just being equally practical." Patricia sighed. "This is all some silly misunderstanding. Can't you just buy the house anyway?" "Why would I buy a house for someone who's already planning for our divorce?" She didn't have an answer for that. Then came the bargaining. Celia showed up with spreadsheets. Look, she said, laptop open on my kitchen counter. I've run the numbers. If we split the house payment 60-40, I can still afford my apartment. See? Everyone wins. So I'd pay 60% of the mortgage while you keep a backup apartment? It's only 60% because I'd be paying rent too. It's totally fair. I looked at her calculations. She'd even added a line item for Celia's security fund, basically me subsidizing her apartment. Counteroffer, I said. We both keep our separate places. After a year of marriage, if things are good, we look for a house together. A year? We're supposed to be newlyweds living in a gorgeous house, not living separately like roommates. Then give up the apartment. I can't. What if something happens? Then I guess we have our answer. She slammed the laptop shut and left. Her friend group attempted an intervention next. Britt, Haley, and Jade showed up at my gym. We need to talk, Britt announced, cornering me by the water fountain. About? You're ruining Celia's life over nothing. Haley chimed in. She's just being smart. So am I. No, you're being vindictive, Jade added. She's crying every night. The wedding venue is booked, deposits paid. Just buy the house. Why doesn't she give up the apartment? They exchanged glances. Because that's different. Women need security. And men don't? You make more money. Britt accused. Which is why she thinks I should pay most of the mortgage while she keeps her escape hatch? They had no response to that either. Update 3. 2 months before the wedding, things escalated. Celia had been telling people we were working through it and the house was still in negotiations. She'd even kept Janine, our realtor, on standby. Then I posted on Instagram. Just a simple photo of my loft with the caption, "Love my new place, perfect for the bachelor life." My phone exploded. The first call was from Trevor, one of my groomsmen. "Bro, what's this about bachelor life? The wedding's in 8 weeks. Yeah, about that." Within an hour, Celia was banging on my door again. This time, she brought reinforcements, her mom and her sister Daphne. "How dare you?" Celia screamed the moment I opened the door. "Bachelor life? Are you calling off the wedding?" "I haven't called off anything, just being honest about my living situation." Patricia tried the calm approach. "Ryan, be reasonable." Celia made one small request about keeping her apartment. "As divorce insurance," I interrupted. "She literally called it insurance for when we split up." "That's not what I meant," Celia wailed. "Then what did you mean?" I wanted security from your future husband." "Got it." Daphne stepped forward. "You're being financially abusive." "How? By not buying a house for someone who's planning for our marriage to fail? By controlling her with money." "I'm not controlling anything. She can keep her apartment. I'll keep my loft. Everyone's happy." "That's not a marriage," Celia shouted. "Married people live together. Then, give up the apartment." "I can't. You don't understand. What if you leave me? What if you cheat? What if you leave? What if you cheat? Your apartment plan only protects you, not us." She actually stamped her foot. "That's different. I'm taking all the risk getting married." "How exactly are you taking more risk than me?" "I'm giving up my independence, my freedom, your backup plan." "Yeah, that's the problem." They left after more shouting. But the real kicker came the next day. I got a call from Janine, the realtor. She was laughing. "Ryan, you're not going to believe this. Celia just called asking if the house was still available." "Is it?" "Well, no. The sellers accepted another offer last week. But here's the thing. She wanted to know if she could buy it. Solo. Said you two were restructuring your financial arrangement." "She wanted to buy our dream house? Without me?" "Gets better. She asked if I knew any programs for first-time buyers with low down payments. When I told her she'd need at least 20% down for a house that size, she asked if you'd already put down a deposit she could use." "Are you serious?" "Dead serious. She seemed to think that since you'd made the original offer, any earnest money was communal property." "We're not even married yet." That's what I told her. She hung up on me. Update 4. 1 month before the wedding, Celia had gone nuclear. First, she tried to force my hand by sending out updated wedding invitations. The new ones included the address of our new home, the house I'd withdrawn the offer on, the one that was no longer available. My mom called, confused. "Ryan, this address, I thought you said you got a loft?" "I did." Celia's being optimistic. "Optimistic? The wedding's in 4 weeks." "I know, Mom. Do you? Because I have 150 people asking me about this house address. The calls poured in, family, friends, co-workers, everyone wanting to know about our beautiful new home. Celia had even created a wedding website with photos of the house from the listing, talking about where we'll start our lives together. I texted her, "You need to tell people the truth about the house." Her response, "Buy it, and it will be the truth. It's already sold to someone else. Then buy a different one. Any house. I don't care anymore. With what down payment? You're keeping all your savings for your apartment. Use your savings. The ones I'm using for my loft and life? Pass." She showed up that night with a stack of papers. "I found the solution," she announced triumphantly. They were loan documents for a house she'd found, a different one, smaller, in a worse neighborhood. The kicker? She'd listed me as the primary borrower without my knowledge. "You started a loan application in my name? It's perfect. The payment is less than the other house. You can afford it alone." "Celia, this is fraud." "It's not fraud. We're getting married. What's yours is mine. We're not married yet. And you're keeping a separate apartment. How is what's mine yours if what's yours isn't mine? Stop twisting things. Just sign the papers." "No." "Then You'll what?" "I'll tell everyone you're abusive, that you're trying to make me homeless. You have an apartment." "That's not the point." "That's exactly the point." She grabbed the papers and stormed out. But not before her final threat. "If you don't fix this, the wedding is off." "Okay." She froze at the door. "Okay? Okay, if you need a house from me to marry me while you keep your own place, then we shouldn't get married." You can't call my bluff like that." "I just did." Final update. The wedding was officially called off 2 weeks before the date. Celia tried to spin it as mutual, but the truth came out when her sister Daphne drunk posted on Facebook, "My sister deserves better than a man who won't even buy her a house. Ryan is trash. She just wanted to keep her apartment for safety, and he turned it into this whole thing. Now she's stuck in her tiny apartment while he lives in his bachelor pad. Men are garbage." The comments were enlightening. Turns out, several of Celia's friends knew about her plan all along. Britt commented, "Girl, I told you to wait until after the wedding to tell him about keeping the apartment." Haley added, "Should have just bought the house first then mentioned it." My favorite was from Jade. "This is why you don't date men who think they deserve equality." The mask had fully slipped, but Celia wasn't done. She tried one last Hail Mary. She showed up at my loft with her dad, Robert. He was a successful contractor, the type who'd worked his whole life and expected other men to step up. "Ryan," he said, trying to look stern, "this has gone far enough. My little girl is heartbroken. I'm sorry to hear that. You're going to fix this. You're going to buy a house, marry my daughter, and stop this nonsense about her apartment." "No, I'm not." His face went red. "Excuse me? Your daughter wants me to buy a house while she keeps a backup apartment. That's not a partnership. That's called being smart. You should be proud she's thinking ahead. By planning for our divorce before we're married? By protecting herself. You know what kind of world we live in." "Yeah, I do, which is why I'm protecting myself too." Celia had been quiet until now. Suddenly, she burst into tears. "I just wanted security. Is that so wrong?" "No, but expecting me to provide everything while you keep your exit strategy? That's wrong." Robert stepped closer. "Now listen here." "No, you listen. Your daughter spent 4 years with me. She knows I'm not abusive, not a cheater, not a bad partner, yet she still wants divorce insurance. What does that tell you?" "It tells me she's smart. It tells me she doesn't actually want to marry me. She wants to marry my wallet while keeping her options open. How dare you?" "I dare because it's true, and deep down you all know it." Celia's tears mysteriously stopped. "Fine, you want the truth?" "Yes, I wanted security. Yes, I wanted to make sure I'd be okay if things went wrong. Because that's what smart women do." "And what do smart men do?" "They provide. For partners, not for people already planning their exit." 2 weeks later, on what would have been our wedding day, I got a series of texts from Celia. "The apartment is too expensive on just my salary. I had to give up my car lease. My dad won't help because he says I should have married you. This is all your fault. I hope you're happy in your stupid loft." I was actually very happy. The loft was perfect for my needs. I'd started dating someone new, Wendy from my cycling group. When I told her the story, she laughed and said, "So she wanted you to buy a house while she kept an escape apartment? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." Refreshing. Last I heard, Celia had to get a roommate to afford her security apartment. The roommate's boyfriend practically lives there, so she's essentially got less space than before. She's been telling people I financially abandoned her, conveniently leaving out that she was the one who wanted to keep separate residences. Her friend Britt reached out last month, fishing for information. "Celia misses you," she said. She realizes now that keeping the apartment was silly. It wasn't silly, it was telling. She just wanted to feel safe, and now she is, in her apartment, that she kept. Just in case. "You're such an asshole, for not buying a house for someone who didn't trust our marriage would last." She blocked me after that. The moral of the story? When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Celia showed me she was someone who wanted all the benefits of marriage while keeping one foot out the door. She wanted security, but only for herself. She wanted a partnership where I took all the risk. She called it being practical. I called it showing her true colors. Now she's practically living with a roommate and their boyfriend in her security apartment, while I'm happy in my loft. Funny how that worked out. Guess we both got exactly what we asked for. She got to keep her apartment just in case, and I got to keep my common sense. The only thing she lost? The guy willing to actually commit while she hedged her bets. Smart thinking indeed.